Okay, so in the context of remote work, one of the things I'd want to do is just for people to for people listening to understand. One example is the video that we spoke about, where we had the context of someone who passed away in the office, and not just within the office space, but even from the home front, there was no missing person filed or what have you. But to take us back to the effect of remote work or the potential effects of remote work, there was an experiment back when the space age was coming or space race was coming on board, where astronauts and cosmonauts would be trained. And one of the trainings involved being in solitary confinement in a capsule, as they would have been in space, and looking at the behaviors of the would-be astronauts, and different people behaved differently. It's not the same for everyone. Some were able to get on board easily, others not so easily, lose focus, get distracted, and in one case there was a disaster because someone just did something that was slightly off and it caused a fire, and they couldn't do anything about the person. But one of the more successful ones, even when they came out of that capsule, he said the one thing he wanted to hear above everything else was other people's voices. And that's a very human thing. That's a very human thing. So, we have situations where people want to work remotely. We've come from a place where people were working on site all the time, and on site all the time gave us a certain routine that we followed on a daily basis. In the remote place, there isn't necessarily that same kind of routine. And it's on us to build new routines that fit into that, but that not create that kind of situation, like I was saying, of the astronaut, where after some time, they just felt like they needed to hear human beings. So even we as leaders, in getting our people to work remotely, must create the kind of routines that encourage them to also take breaks and go out into their neighborhoods from time to time and allow for that. It may not be necessarily the same 9 to 5, but even if it is within the 9 to 5, we must make sure that for the sake of balance and for their productivity and for their own wellness, that we allow those opportunities that don't totally isolate them from, from the world. We can even encourage from time to time. I mean, Ebenezer spoke about Slack. There were tools like that where you can even encourage a 30-minute break where the whole team comes together, but not in your house or behind your desk or with your books in the background, but, outdoors. And you see each other and you sort of have a friendly chat, but then you go back to work. So you just have to learn to find a way to help design new routines for your team. A lot of things that the leader would do is around designing that environment that will bring the best out of their members and making sure that there are those interactions that are healthy, not just from within, but also without, so that there are people that care for you on both sides.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Musa, for that response. Now, Ebenezer, you have a direct question, and the individual says for Ebenezer. So it's very specific as to who the question is for. For Ebenezer, we all know what people think about us, in quotes, Gen Zs within the work environment. How do I avoid being tagged slash judged as one before getting to know me as a professional and get the respect I deserve within the organization and without conflict? You're smiling. So
Yes, I'm smiling because I first of all I think for the individual question, don't try to even avoid the tag, right? I actually do embrace the Gen Z tag. Most of the time, people that have worked with me, right, first impression tell me, "Oh, you don't seem like a Gen Z. You seem like maybe late millennial or something, um, and you don't behave quote unquote like a Gen Z." I'm like, I would actually embrace the tag of Gen Z. I'm hearing Gen Z. I'm hearing the most creative generation. I'm hearing the generation that wants to disrupt things in a positive manner. The generation that would not accept the status quo, that want to change things positively, right? That want to do new things, right? So I'm hearing a lot of creativity, a lot of innovation with the tag Gen Z. So first of all, I would not avoid the tag of being called a Gen Z. I would actually embrace it. And I think there's little or nothing we can do as to the impression people get of us without them interacting with us, right? I think there's little or nothing we can do. We just have to, in the best way we can, have our best behavior, be as comforted as possible. And then when they interact with us, they would have a real opinion of who we truly are. So I would say in the workplace, practice workplace, ethics. Do things right, right? And those that have not interacted with you will see you for that. They may still call you Gen Z. They may still, have one or two, unfounded opinions about that. Oh, Gen Zs are these ones that just want to scatter everywhere, right? For lack of better words. But when they do eventually interact with you and they see the kind of professional you are, that will change everything, right? So, like I said again, please embrace that tag of Gen Z. I think it's something everybody needs to start doing. Gen Zs are the way to go, right?
Okay.
We're the one thinking about the workplace very soon, right?
Thank you, everybody. Embrace the tag. I like that. So just embrace the tag. Okay, so just final words from our panelists. Just a sentence. Just leave us with something, some words of wisdom. Just one sentence, each of you, and I'll start with Fumi for our audience.
Okay, so thank you to everyone who joined the webinar today. I hope we inspired you to build lasting relationships at work or good relationships at work. My encouragement to you is, as much as possible, try and be at peace with people. Remember that you're there for a specific purpose. Be friendly, but don't be there to make friends. Be kind. Yes, and also learn from people's experiences. Don't go to work with your emotions. Try and separate your emotions from what it is you have to do. And whenever you have conflict, also remember that it's not about you, but it's about what you're there to do. So when you have that in mind, you also tend to try and resolve conflicts because you understand that it's also for the good of whatever objectives you have, right? So I just encourage you to stay focused, and yeah, you'll be all right.
Stay focused. Thanks, Fumi. And Musa, your parting shot.
Thank you very much. I think we all need to work actively to design the work environment that we want. And in doing so, we look at both the physical and the environmental factors. What is very important is that we have to be able to take feedback. For everything that we expect of others, we should also look very critically at ourselves. It doesn't mean you should bash yourself on the head, but it definitely means make sure that you are being consistent with that which you wish to see. Being a Gen X, I would like to take a shot at the Gen Zs, but not in any bad way. All I want to say is that there's nothing new under the sun. There are no new tricks in the world. As far as I'm concerned, I look forward to the Gen Zs becoming the Gen Xs, or becoming of the age of the Gen Xs now, and the Gen AAs and the others that are coming behind them now, coming up and interacting with them. And we'll see that, we've been there before, but that is not to say that your views are not valid. It's more or less to say whatever you are and whatever you identify as, be your authentic self and carry that into the work environment. Do not be transactional, please. Thank you.
Very much, Musa. And now, then the house, proudly embracing the tag. Ebenezer, your final words for us today.
Thank you, Isa. And what I would just say is, for the Gen Zs out there and for those that are just coming into the workplace, right? I know there's this fairy tale of how my employer should treat me. In most Gen Z's mind, or those that are just coming to the workplace, I want to be given the best treatment. Definitely, you deserve that as an employee, right? But being a Gen Z does not mean you would be unprofessional, right? Being a Gen Z does not mean you'd be, out of place. And I think that's where the negative tag of being a Gen Z comes from, where they think, okay, these ones just want to come to the workplace and, faff around. You're coming to work, you're not coming to play. That's what the workplace is all about. It's not a playground, it's a workplace in the sense of the word, coming to work. So put on your best professional cap in whatever you do. Ensure that you align with the values of the company you're working with. Workplace ethic is extremely important. You don't want to be called a Gen Z in the negative sense and be embracing that, right? So don't embrace the negative part of it. Look forward to the Gen Z that is creative, that is innovative, as a disruptor in a positive light. And I say Gen Zs are I think the Gen Z age should be getting closer to 30 than before. I think
So
youngest older should be around
hit
28,
millennials
27.
slash Gen X. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you to all our wonderful panelists. It's been truly insightful, engaging, and yeah, you've really shared of your deep experience and expertise on your life, really. So thank you very much. Ayodeji, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Oiza. I honestly, even if I'll say this myself, I always look forward to this webinars. It's always very insightful and very interesting to then see our work come out, because many times the major challenge is putting together the panel, and the panel always just surprises us. We're not surprised really, but we're just happy with the quality of people that we always get. To come and help us with our conversations. And all of you actually, well, not all of you, at least two of you are a source of workplace relationships. Oiza, I have known forever. Years in Guarantee Trust. I'm talking 20 some years plus ago. Ebenezer, I knew through another person who I had worked with, Paigamde, and she recommended him highly. And for me, a different relationship altogether. We share a worship place, but it's interesting to see her work side. Musa and I are ancient. We come from like over 40 years of relationship. So it's very interesting to see people's perspective. And I really, really thank each of you for spending this time with us. I thank you. And to those of you who are our participants today, thank you very much for joining us. I'll let you know that we're sponsoring a walkathon at the end of September. Please join us. This specific walkathon is in celebration of World Heart Day and the Older People's Day, which is 1st of October. But the walkathon is coming up on the 28th. Now, we're doing this in collaboration with two geriatric services, Full Circle and JBS Medical. But come irrespective, join and encourage, be a source of encouragement to the older person. And as we do this very short walkathon, it's 4 kilometers within Lekki environs. So just follow us and you get more information about that. Thank you very much, and have a good evening. Thank you.